Welcome everyone to the Tabletop Chat Podcast, where we talk about anything and everything that is tabletop. I am your host, Aruka, and I bring you an exciting interview today with the creator of Eigendark TCG. So let's get into this. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the next episode of the podcast. I am here with the creator of Eigendark. How are you doing today?
Hi, Aruka. Thanks for having me. I'm good.
Oh,
Still
good.
sick in rainy Germany, but all good, all good. Happy to be on show.
Tell me about your game. What is your game about?
So Eigendark is about player-created cards. So there's some other TCGs out there, like the Collective TCG, who've attempted to allow players to create their own cards. And this has always fascinated me. They have a very wacky, funny style, their own style. And I've tried to create something more on the, dark fantasy side. And with the help of AI, this has become possible for the first time. If you want players to create their own cards, you cannot, like, anytime 24/7 have an artist create the cards for them. You would have to employ some AI models who would illustrate the cards. In the back, there's also a custom game design engine who's trying to balance the card and create fun mechanics. And in the end, you will get a complete card with artwork, with balanced mechanics, and so on, and some flavor for the different factions.
Oh, that's really cool. So there's an actual AI that will actually do like card balancing and actually create card effects for the card that you want to.
Yeah, that was like the whole premise. I've been like playing TCGs for years, for over 10 years, and like all the TCGs that are popular out there, I've been playing. And when you're into TCGs, I guess you at some point want to make your own. Like there's so much creativity in this space, and how about you can harness this creativity and have like players make their own cards. I think players are eventually the best game designers, and if you manage to make this balanced in a balanced way, then that's a great thing. That's something worth trying, at least.
That I have to agree 100% on because, players are the ones who play the games and they are the best play testers. They're the best to figure out the mechanics, what even like, what loopholes, right? Every card game's got the card that was made like 5 years ago, then the newer card came out, and then it's like a loophole in the system, and you're able to repeat and almost break the game. So
Hmm.
it's a very true case. Like, and there's a lot of card games popping up these days.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
impressed when I got out there myself. How many there are.
I have to agree. I thought I knew a lot of them until just recently hopping on a specific Discord, and I was like, "Whoa, there's a lot more than I thought there was."
It's very impressive, like what people can come up with. Yeah, truly.
And it is. And then even to the point where you would think that they would try to start repeating the same game mechanics, but you've noticed that each game's got its own little tinge, its own little difference that makes it different, unique from the other.
Also, the artworks, like I really enjoy these different styles and cards in general. Just yesterday, I was on a Discord with homemade TCGs, and someone presented a chocolate god from inspired by the Aztec culture, which is where like cocoa comes from. So it was very unique and creative. I love that idea.
Oh, you're talking about the food card game, right? Where you take the
Yeah,
ingredients and craft it together to get them.
yeah,
Yeah, that was
yeah.
so cool.
That's a cool one. Yeah, I love that. Also, very unique art style. Yeah, it's just lovely. There's art styles for everyone. Also, there was a challenge for like of course I'm using AI art, and I probably get a lot of hate for this. I mean, I've received a lot of hate for this, but it was actually very hard to like make this unique and also be right on the first try, because like you can't have people try to reprint their artwork at the same time, like many times over. You want to have it perfect. Like a lot of the AI artwork you see out there is like cherry picked or like edited. A lot of upscaling has been done and so on. But to get it right, where it's like 90% of the generations or even more are like acceptable. That took a lot of work. Also playing with the art styles, like for instance with quantum magic. Like how would you? Of course, Eigendark is science themed, right? We haven't gotten into this, but like it's rather than fire, earth, air, you have like quantum gravity, like chemistry and biology and so on. So how would you visualize this and try to like get inspired by different art styles and epochs to so for instance for quantum magic it's a lot about kaleidoscopes, so mirrors and because to reflect like the alternate timelines and like the probability of like the multiverse interpretation of, and so yeah, to me it was fitting like to come up with this psychedelic art styles, make it very colorful. And this was also challenging to go at, you know, like from an artist perspective. Luckily, I have an artist part myself, so I've been drawing, painting for since I was a kid. I know a lot of art history and the different epochs, so that certainly played a huge role in helping me there.
That's pretty incredible. And I get where you're coming from. I know there is the AI are like anything AI these days, and it is a very divided line kind of point of view, right?
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
totally get that. But like in the same process, it's most likely going to happen, right? It's definitely going that direction. A lot of things that people don't realize they use AI already for, like the call services and when you go online, you got the AI chatbot that's asking your customer services, right? Till you actually get a real person, right? It's already been there. It's been there for a long time. It's just now getting more open. I don't, me personally, I don't have anything against AI. Like, if you want to make a game out of the card egg, like AI game, that's completely fine. I think it's cool. It's produced a lot of really cool artwork. Like even just checking out here in your cards and stuff, like they look amazing. I'm not gonna lie. Like, did you program the AI itself to actually imprint the art and then like the framework around it and then it like pops up with the effects, or like is there like does that happen, or you get what I'm asking?
Yeah, it's so it in the back it's a little Lego. So to assemble a final prompt in the end, and how to handle the artwork, which is all happening in the back. And so, for instance, depending on the faction, like on gravity or quantum or something,
Hmm.
you will get some certain parts of the prompt differently. Then, depending on the species, there are some prompt helpers because, for instance, AI is very bad at producing like good like dragons, let's say, for instance. Like sometimes you will get a good picture, but a lot of times I'm talking about consistency. It's very bad. And for me it's all about consistency because the artwork has to be quite good or acceptable at the first try without any editing. So there will be a lot of prompt helpers. Also, depending on the cultures, I've invented some new like species and cultures, so that there will be some prompt helpers also for the classes and some random ones. Then there's some for like the camera angle. You know, you have like a Dutch angle or like some different kind of viewpoints. You know, like poses, whether it's a character that's looking, you see their back and they're looking over their shoulder, or whether they're jumping and shouting and something like that. And for each of those you also have to take into account like what species it is. For instance, a dragon, it looks very bad if you try to do it with a jumping pose usually. So there's a lot of if then else in the background to try to assemble a prompt basically. And then when this one's finished, also negative prompt, When this one's finished, then yeah, it's submitted to a GPU cluster, which then makes the artwork within seconds.
Oh, that's really, really cool. So like here, let me check this out really quick. Let me go over here to the craft, right? Is it craft or create?
Create. The create is
Ah,
the demo that where you
okay.
can. So that's the end vision. Right now we have a crafting system where you can combine cards to combine their abilities and craft them anew, or rename them or reprint the artwork. But in the future, it should be possible to create entirely new cards. And this is what the demo is for, to showcase how this might look like.
Oh, I like that. I like that. So it's kind of like I think I've seen something similar to this with another game. It's been a while where it's like combining the cards and it does create something else. That's pretty cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah, for the collective TCG, you have like artists upload their artwork into a collective database, and then when you create the card, you can basically take artworks that artists have already uploaded and put them into your card. It's a very complex system where you then can generate the effects. It's also, I may say, not that user friendly. It has a learning curve, definitely. And for Eigendark, I wanted to be a little different, where you have like you you have AI creating like a professional looking artwork for you, so it shouldn't be this wacky style. But may also upload your own drawings. Like let's say you've drawn a fantasy character, and in the future this should also be possible, where you can upload your own character, and the AI will make it into a fancy looking card. And the balancing and the text formulation is also done with AI. So you have like the AI will correct grammar. It can even translate from different language to make it like a concise text. You know what I mean? Make it balanced and so on. So this is all possible, but not mature yet. Not mature enough to be included into the game.
I know. I was just about to ask that because I know that there's AI generators right now where you could put a photo or something you created, right? Something you drew, right? Let's say you're not a fantastic artist, right? But it looks a little rough. And then you upload it into the AI and like enhances it visually, adds like some color and some other components to really make it like spot shine. And I know there's quite a few other TCGs that are already doing that kind of method already too as well. So I was just about to ask that if your game could do that as well. So I find that rather interesting. That you're actually
Yeah.
working towards that goal to make that happen, right?
Yeah, like the vision is like to have like no team of designers, actually, like to have the players designers. Like for instance, I have a friend of mine who has all these set ideas about custom magic sets or cubes, and they could just go ahead and release their own set under their own fantasy name, you know, like and maybe even make a buck of it, you know, and with its own theme and everything, and it would be playable with other sets. So that's like the final end vision. We're a long time before this is complete. Like for instance, one of the things is like if I allow someone to upload their picture, how do I check that if it's not copyright infringement, for instance, or that it's like safe for work, you know, like all these kind of things need to be checked.
Oh, I totally get that. That's still cool. Okay, so we kind of went off topic. So let's go back to what is the theme of the game, obviously, right? You know, I mean, me and you discussed it a little bit earlier, but like, I want to hear the full theme, like the everything behind it.
Okay, so the theme is, imagine a fantasy world, but like rather than the usual elements, you have like science-based elements. So it's all based on this premise, like any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And that's what this is about, you know, like the magic the characters in game are practicing is actually based on science, but it's gone so far beyond our current understanding that it just looks like magic, and it can just might as well be called magic. And so that's the whole premise. And you have like 8 different factions, and this goes like so when you look at the universe and like the all the different scientific disciplines that are trying to explore the secrets of the universe. You can go like from the very most basic fundamental principles up to like very abstract ones, like from like elemental particles and space time and the fundamental forces up to, you know, chemistry of atoms to biochemistry to life to organisms to their their souls, like their minds, up to their societies they're building on and the economies and laws and computer simulations they might create. So that's like the whole spectrum, let's say, of where these different magic branches come from. And I basically boiled this down to eight to kind of aggregate different disciplines together. Like, for instance, the planet magic one is like all around, you know, the different earth sciences, you know, climate science, geology, also archaeology, you know, digging into the earth. It's all about the past, about tradition, the planet, and your home and protecting it. And but it also has to be like a hard cut between like its neighboring factions, which are, if you go down this spectrum, like deeper into the universe, it's like the atomic faction, which is all about, you know, atoms and energy, matter and energy, and like the fundamental forces, electromagnetism, strong force, weak force. So there has to be a clear cut. It's and also a clear cut to what it's basically built upon the minerals and inorganic, the elements, the classic elements that the planet has. It's the chemistry, the alchemy, where it starts, you know, like all these different elements start to combine and create not living systems yet, but systems nonetheless, or more complex molecules with more complex functions. So that's basically the theme of the game, where you have like distinct factions with unique play styles and unique backgrounds. So another you have to think about how does different kind of magic play. Like for instance, quantum magic. When you think about quantum, it's all about probability, but it also goes into, you know, optics, photons, and you know, so some more obscure theories like the multiverse interpretation and so on. So it makes sense that this faction, for instance, is more of like a RNG based one, and with spell slingers and glass cannons. So the theme of glass and mirrors appears
Oh,
often in this faction.
I get what you mean.
Yeah,
Glass cannons. Okay, okay. Sorry for interrupting.
it's fine. Like yeah, and I can go on like maybe like deeper down of quantum, or you may argue is gravity. Gravity is like one of these elusive forces which hasn't been like which doesn't have its own fundamental particle yet, and it's questionable whether it even has one, um, or whether this force arises from something else entirely. So this is why it has its own faction. It's more about like these abstract principles of geometry, mathematics, space time. Um, like maybe you're familiar with the Flemish or Danish artist Escher. Like he's been drawing all these fancy geometry sketches which play a little bit with your mind, and it's inspired by his work, you know, like dimensions, lower dimensions, higher dimensions. So it goes more into the abstract, but also how do you display it in the artwork. It was on the astronomy side, gives a lot of strong visuals, you know, like the void, the interstellar cosmos. It's very cold and chill, but it's also, if something freezes, it becomes a crystal, and a crystal is very ordered. So gravity is all about order and control, and this slow, inevitable embrace, so to speak, of a black hole. So it's like a controlling archetype, definitely.
Oh, I really like that. I like the whole set theme. I'm enjoying each set theme for the exactly like the lore behind it, the theming behind it, and the theming it connects to the game mechanics as well. I'm assuming, right? for each one.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, for sure, for sure. It's like we can if you look at the cards, you can see that for instance gravity has a lot of things that try to play with like the very fundamental rules of the game, especially when it comes to speed and so space time.
Mm.
This is so it's about cost manipulation in both directions, but also about in the game it's not turn-based like Magic the Gathering, like it has turns but not the same turns, so it cannot do like the you get another turn after this one kind of route, but it has another kind of time theme where you can like skip damage steps and so on. And there's like even the reverse of a first strike. So if you're familiar with Magic or Runeterra, there's like a first strike where when you attack, like your unit attacks first, and gravity has like the inverse. It's called time dilation, where you like when you block with a unit, it strikes first.
Hmm.
And so this is the kind of stuff. Like Quantum has a lot of copying spells, copying units, and very spell slingy. It has like there's the concept of quantum immortality, which is basically like a divine shield. So like it evades or cheats death once. Superposition, where you like it's basically a one-time shroud, like a one-time thing where you cannot be targeted by an enemy spell. Yeah, and so on. Like the atomic faction is very brutish. It's about it's very offensive with lightning from electromagnetism, strong force, weak force. They have well, not many people may be familiar with it, but they do have like, for instance, one of the most famous examples of them is like the atomic bomb. They're very strong forces, and the energy is released. Showcased in nuclear explosion, for instance, or nuclear energy.
Mm.
And so it's all about industry and but also military. It's a fun experience, when you think about like maybe if you're familiar with Jung, like the psychologist, like these different archetypes and themes you kind of have associated with different words and concepts. It's a fun thing to think about, like the different associations you might have with something like atomic magic, for instance. You think about radiation, but also about industry, like all this electricity that is getting produced from it. And yeah, so it's all about that. It's a very, in the end, this turned out to be a very brutish, aggressive, very fast oriented faction.
Oh,
Then
that's
the
really
planet one, the
cool.
next one is kind of a counterbalance to it. It's more about, nature, the earth, past, tradition, and harmony, and the classical elements. So its style is more of a classical fantasy style, you might say. It's home to a lot of druids and shamans. And I called it planet because in the Eigendark universe, I don't want to be constrained to planet Earth. So
Mm.
you might imagine a planet mage is bonded with a completely different home world, let's say with Mars,
Oh.
Jupiter, or something else entirely. Yeah, that's why I call it the planet. Like
Oh.
depending on their home planet they're rooted with, they might have even different abilities. Different, like a Martian planet mage might look completely different than an Terran one. So that's like the whole theme of it. It has
That's
like
really cool. I like how you expanded it from just not Earth, but any kind of planet. Now, even though they're not technically planets, but would a moon kind of count out of curiosity? Just wondering.
yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, it's about well, right now off the bat I would say yes.
Okay.
The theme, the law behind it is like that each planet is like its own kind of super organism, which can be called Gaia, like this deity, which the planet deity.
Mm.
And each planet has it, and it extends its influence over ley lines over the spheres. So you have like stratosphere, lithosphere, biosphere, and so on. And different planet mages can tap into these spheres to channel their magic. So this is where like the classical elements come from. Then like the earth, the geomancer taps the ley lines from the lithosphere, whereas something that channels the storms, like an aeromancer, they might be bonded with the stratosphere, for instance. And I wonder if it's a moon, whether they have all these spheres as well. Maybe it's a smaller version, more a tinier version, but nonetheless probably something.
That's really cool. I like that a lot. And I like how you put a lot of thought into like the different, the different layers and then how they actually take out and manipulate for like the energy, right? The ability to, right? It's almost like, as you said before, magic. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to express this aspect of balance with them. They're a very balanced faction as well. So they're very mid-range. They have both offensive and defensive abilities, and kind of control, like your resource systems and so on. So they're like a very um, more of a defensive or balanced option.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Okay, so we went through a couple already. How let's see here. I see one that
As
pops up, psychic, or is it psycho?
Yeah, psychic.
Oh, psychic.
I think I called it psycho once, but then I realized that in other, like in German, it's completely fine. Like in all the Pokemon, the psychic Pokemon are psycho.
Mm.
But then I realized in other language, psycho has a different association. It's more
Oh,
with
okay.
psychopath, so I called it psychic then. Yeah,
Okay.
it's like, of course, psychopathy might falls also into this faction, but it goes beyond that. It also includes neuroscience and like actual psychology, but also the paranormal, the dreams, the beyond. It's all about um, starting from the brain, going into the soul, like everything beyond. It's home to, like for instance, artists that want to immortalize their work, or prophets that spread a religion, everything that goes beyond the biological entities.
I like that a lot. That's really cool. And then, so I see two others. It's a life and glitch. And alchemy? Is alchemy one
Yes.
too?
Yeah, alchemy is one too. That's the
Oh,
final
okay,
one.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay,
I,
okay.
I
All right.
I can briefly touch those. So alchemy is chemistry based, and some esoteric aspects as well. It's a very combo heavy faction that slowly snowballs. Life is all about resilience, healing, graveyard recursion, and well, life and death, the decay aspect as well, necromancy, and then and also genetics and so on, of course. And then the glitch one is then like if you even move beyond individual psyches and spirits, you end up at the systems of individuals, like very abstract, which is like economies and civilizations and laws. So the glitch faction is all not only about computer science, AR, VR, it's also about, you know, law and economies, well, economics. This is and governmental aspects also flow into this faction.
Oh, that's cool. That's really, really cool. Because I saw glitch and I was like, man, what is that? There has to be a really good theming behind that. And I was like, I want to hear that one for sure. But I was thinking kind of like I'm not gonna lie, I was thinking kind of like it was on the bounds of like, cybernetic like computer or something like that and like, that kind of like root direction, like cyberpunkish.
Yeah,
I,
yeah, that's
I,
how it's currently visualized for
uh,
sure. Um, yeah.
and then I think you got two left, life and chaos.
So life is like I think I mentioned it. It's yeah, it's about necromancy, like, but also life sciences. There's many life sciences and like biochemistry, genetics, and so on. and it's all about life's resilience. And I want to distinguish this from Planet, because you might, like a friend of mine, when they were playtesting, they were surprised to see that live some cards look very like bizarre and maybe ugly. And they were surprised because they thought life would be like a very um, harmonious faction. But
Oh, like
actually,
like
look at,
like Holy or something like that. You traditionally see in so many other fantasy card games.
yeah, but if you look at life survives. Life is about, like it struggles against the eternal pull of entropy, trying to pull it back into inanimate matter. And it's like all about this never ending struggle to continue to exist. And it's also about assimilation. If you think about, planet Earth before life, it was all inanimate matter, and life has assimilated a lot of it to become animated matter. And if you think about this, this makes life like very I got like these themes of, the greater good, and like the individual is not like is just temporal, striving towards one unified goal of unity. So and this theme resonates with life. It's like resilience and unity.
That's very cool. Like I was assuming too. I was looking at life and I was like seeing from what some of the cards popped up. I was like, "Oh, that's very cool." But then when you explained to me, I'm like, "Ah, that sounds even better." Instead of having like the traditional fantasy aspects like holy, divine, some churchy kind of feel, some angelic form, right? Something to those terms, right? Like I like how you put the fact that like basically survival, trying to survive the daily life, trying to survive the situation, and then like sometimes forces you to like things to mutate, forces things to be kind of ugly because they will do anything to survive. And I like that concept a lot. That's
Yeah,
very cool.
thanks.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. That's really cool. And then so what's chaos?
So chaos was initially, so right now it's not in the game anymore. There's
Oh, oh.
still like I think 3 chaos cards, but like it's not intended to be in the game anymore, because like initially it was like the antithesis of like all these 8 factions were like some kinds of laws and orders of the cosmos, and this one should be like the antithesis to it. But when working with this, I thought it was like too generic, to like this generic bad guy chaos kind of thing. And many genres have already explored this topic, so it wasn't like fresh and new to me. And so I felt like quantum, with it didn't have the RNG aspects back then. uh, I thought it fit better to, or also fit to quantum a little bit. So what I did eventually is like move the different aspects of chaos, like the RNG one to quantum, the self annihilation one, the like this suicidal one to psychic,
Mm.
and others. And then for now, at least, I ditched it.
So it's one of those, it's on the back burner. You might get to it later, just depending, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. It's like if
yeah.
you really wanted to add another one, right? But I think it's cool. I like the idea that you've actually done factions, right? So you know how everybody does elements, colors, now like faction or like houses, right? Or even guilds, right? Like everybody has to
Mhm.
go with like a specific like theming that's traditional, and I like how you broke the mold and it kind of went away from it, and the lore behind this game is amazing. Do you have like a lore page or something by chance, or am I like not seeing? Oh, there's
Um,
factions.
yeah, I also have a Medium blog where I tend to publish stuff about lore and factions. It's I'm in the process of publishing this. Like I do have some stuff written, stuff in my mind, but takes time to. So every week or so I publish something.
Uh, yeah, no, I really like the lore behind the game that you got. Like you got some really deep lore, and I like how all the factions are set up. I think it's incredibly fascinating. Now I noticed is this just strictly digital, or are you gonna actually do actual physical cards by chance?
But yeah, yeah, that's a weird spot. So it's actually only playable in like except for the Tabletopia demo,
Mm.
it's only playable in physical. So I've been playing with friends with physical cards. I also just sent some cards to the US. So right now it's the thing is you either you buy the starter decks. So there's like each faction has its own starter deck,
Here, let me go
and you
over your
can buy
starter
them.
decks.
And then yeah, so physical, and then eventually, like if I mean it costs money, right? If there's enough revenue from it and stuff, then you can develop an online game, or maybe I might do it in my free time in Unity or Unreal, but it will take time definitely if I'm all alone.
Oh no, I get it. Like an actual, I've messed with Unity, I've messed with Unreal Engine, Tabletop, just any of them, right? It 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 takes time, it takes a lot of effort, and it's like you have to kind of like on the side promote your game, PR your game, right? Try to get people into it, get people play testing it, and then trying to go and develop that. I know it's got to be a hassle. Now
Yeah.
out of curiosity, I'm looking at, oh, you could actually select which text you want. That's so cool. So,
Yes, this is everything.
yeah,
Flavor text to game, everything is on your own. Like it's a collective world building. Like you can, like the factions are also designed in a way that it can fit into different storytellings. Like, yeah.
so now out of curiosity, with all these factions and stuff, uh, two questions. All right. So it's going to be first, which one's technically your favorite, theming wise, right? And then after that, besides the theming and lore behind it, which one would be mechanically the your favorite to play in the game? But we'll start with the first one. Like, which one's your favorite? Like the lore, the theming behind it.
It's a very tricky question. I would say it changes all the time. It
What?
really, like there was a point in time when any faction was my favorite. It changes. Like I wouldn't even say right now I have a favorite, but I had times when I was very in love with the atomic faction, and I was very in love with the psychic one. It was, I don't know, it also depends like on the work I put into it. I've sometimes I focus a little bit on refining its look, its design, and then I might fall in love into with it a little bit. Yeah, so actually I like them all.
Okay. I know that's always a hard question to ask. I've asked other creators the same thing too. They're like, no, like, why you have to make me hard choices? I love my whole game. They're like, why you do this to me? I like to ask these kind of questions. But so then how about this? I get the theme might be a little bit difficult to choose, right? I completely understand that too. So, but I know mechanically, I've noticed with a lot of players, and you were a player too yourself, right? You played a lot of, TCGs yourself. So it's like you like a certain way a mechanic feels and how like a certain type of archetype or decks kind of play, right? So obviously each one of your factions got a different way to play, right? So which one would you be your favorite out of the eight then, if that's a possible pick if you could do?
hmm I would say one of my favorites would definitely be Quantum because they have a lot of combat tricks, like for instance, changing the combat positions of the enemy. So I love that. I've seen this in Legends of Runeterra, and I'm sad that they didn't explore this further. That they do have few cards who do this, and I really love this effect. We can change combat positions. And in Magic, well, I was also I love stacks. It's a very hated archetype, but
Oh my
I love
goodness, yes.
stacks.
There's a lot of people. I did not realize how much of the community until recently does not like stacking their cards.
Yeah, with stacks, you have like all this also cost manipulation and like taxation of the enemy, and that's the what the gravity faction is about. So yeah, I would
Oh,
say those two.
So you do got those two. Okay, and those are the actually one of the set things deck you could get, right? Is quantum and gravity, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Okay, now I'm actually looking at the decks right now. So I'm looking at quantum and gravity, but I'm not really getting the pictures on who the pictures are connected to. So for quantum, who's representing quantum in the pictures over here for your shop site section?
You mean on the website, the pictures? Yeah,
Yeah.
this the images were on cards once, but they have changed.
Oh,
The
okay.
reason is the AI field moves so quickly, so quickly. It's incredible. And back then, when I made this page, um, the capabilities were much weaker. So these pictures are like low resolution relatively. So I
Oh,
cannot generate them again. It's like right now the Eigendark cards have much better, much higher resolution, and these images, these characters, I cannot generate with these newer models again.
oh.
That's a downside, maybe even. You could
Well,
theoretically do it. Yeah.
I was gonna say theoretically you could always if you've upgraded the art right to the traditional set that you got now, you could always use
Yeah.
those old school artworks as like promotional cards and stuff. I mean, trading card game. It's all about the promo cards and the pretty looks and limited editions, you know?
That's true. That's true. And that there is a need for characters, that constantly represent this faction. And that's why I designed these dragons. I think I sent you one, right? Like these,
Yes,
each
he
each
looks
faction has
so
like a
cool.
representative dragon.
Uh,
Yeah. And the one I sent you is like makes sense, like to transcend different layers of reality. It's the glitch dragon. It's
yeah, I was gonna
called.
say he's glitched, so now it makes sense.
Is like transcend. So in there's like infinite vertical simulation layers, basically. Like this theory how we're living in a simulation, and so in my mind you have like horizontally different parallel timelines, which is like the quantum aspect where you go into different universes, Rick and Morty style. But there's like the vertical aspect where you go into different layers of the infinite simulation stack, and this is like the glitch one. And this glitch dragon is like he's named after so his name is Stuxstrat or Stuxstrat.
Stuxnet.
It's named after this computer malware, this famous one. It's called Stuxnet, and
Oh,
he's Stuxstrat the 404. And he's like this computer virus dragon who transcends realities and pops up in different games, maybe even.
I really like the concept behind that. He's almost like a virus that's just gonna go and invade other people's stuff. I actually like that a lot, and I think I mean he looks completely insane. Like I love the colorization on him too and everything. I was really looking at him like, wow, he's like a boss monster almost. Out of curiosity, is he in the glitch deck that you got up for sale by chance or no?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So each of those is like so now that like I'm kind of finally settled on an art style and layout and everything, I'm planning to do like more constant characters, like starting from the dragons, that people have like can connect to something. It doesn't change all the time. Yeah. So he will be in the glitch deck and stay there.
Oh, that's super cool. So hold it. So I'm looking at the decks right now. So you got quantum and gravity. Those are obviously based off the actual the factions. What about dreams and I don't want to butcher that.
The psychic
S-
one?
Simulacra? I know I butchered that. I'm
Simulacra.
so
Yeah.
how do you say that?
Simulacra? It's
Simulacra.
like yeah, it's like something that doesn't even have like a real representation. It's like not
Oh,
even a
okay.
simulation of something. It's like completely
Okay.
uh,
So
artificial.
so which faction does that one represent?
The simulacra are still. You mean the dreams one? The dreams with this is the psychic one.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. And then obviously nature versus industry. So nature's faction is planet, right? Or is it going to be life?
Uh, that's planet
Oh,
versus atomic.
atomic. Okay. And then you got mind over matter. So which one's mind and which one's matter?
I believe that one was the alchemy versus life one.
Okay. Very, very cool. So I think it's awesome that you also made it where you could get two decks for like $30. I think that's like a really good deal for a lot of people. And especially, I don't know if you run into the same issue, but have you ever ordered like a deck of cards or something from like another country, right? More specifically the US. We could get really specific. And then it gets shipped over and then you get slapped with like some weird tax because you got products that shipped over to you. I don't know if that happens to you, but it
Yeah,
happens to me all the time.
yeah, it's a pain. Also, the shipping cost takes a lot. So right now, I'm making profit on any of this. To be just frank, like I'm just trying to get the game out there and spread the fun and love for the game. Like that's it.
Yeah, no, I get it. And I know you're not the only one. I know there's a lot of creators who are like trying to like meet the competition and then like try to meet that marker, right? And like we said before, shipping's just awful expensive. Like shipping within the own country, it's dummy cheap, right? But then
Mm.
once it like leaves the border, it just becomes super expensive to make it anywhere. So like
Yeah.
even for me, like I had one time where I got lucky and I got this big old booster box as a surprise in my box, but I ended up paying like $50 extra for my whole entire box. That was technically I was just paying for shipping originally.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I was trying to ship to Saudi Arabia once, and it was like $70 or even more. And I was like crazy for like a couple cards.
how many
It's just
decks was it?
crazy.
Was it just two decks or one deck or what?
Regardless, like if you send one deck or two decks, I think if it was like all eight, it would have been even more expensive. Yeah.
Regardless, oh my gosh,
All
that's way
eight?
too much money to be shipping. Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, it's just shipping. Yeah.
Oh, so I know that pain. Luckily, I have learned my lesson. Getting in two decks into Thailand is actually really harmful. They'll just let it slide through and won't affect it. Anything that's the size of two decks, even if it's a stack of packs, they won't affect it. But if it's like the size of like a booster box or like four or maybe like six decks, they're going, there's your price tag. You have to pay it. And you have to also either A, come to pick it up from the customs or B, have it delivered, which costs more money. You're like, I just paid for shipping to the house again. Oh, nightmare.
It's a pain. Yeah, we all know. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah,
uh,
if you know something, let me know. Like that's cheaper and more efficient. All ears.
I'm really looking for a different like so far that's the only method I've realized is a few set of packs and then like for like promotional purposes or like two decks that'll slide in easily but like damn anything else is just a fortune even a game mat I'll never be able to get a game mat over here and there's so many beautiful game mats that creators have created I'll never have the opportunity I don't even have the money right now so I can't cry about it
Oh no.
uh But so with that said, since you already actually have the decks and stuff, are you actually looking to are you going to do like a booster box or like a limited edition set or are you going to do like an expandable set of cards? Like what plans you got for the future?
Yeah, so here's the thing. Like the core set has like I like constant cards for everyone. Although I could relatively easily even print unique decks for everyone. So I really love Commander, Magic Commander. I love this theme that like there's one of each card, that every card is unique, keeps the game fresh and exciting. And with Eigendark, there's actually the possibility to have every card unique. Like this was actually also my initial selling point until I realized most players probably don't care. But it's like possible to do, and I think actually very cool that every card is unique. Like there's no doubles. so no rarities even. And I could so right now I'm open. So right now you have the base set. You can buy the base set. I could do like thought about it, like maybe if you run a Kickstarter, give like everyone a unique deck or something. Like still the same faction, but like completely unique cards. Um, this is something you can make it expandable, like you can have like new editions, like from time to time, where you can like expand the base set. And what I'm currently experimenting right now is, because it's kind of very easy to do, combined with AI, is like have these NFT collections. So I've launched like a collection on the blockchain, and it's like very easy to in the back, like when you mint an NFT, the AI model will generate the card for you. And this is like the digital set, so to speak. So then you get like a digital card. It's unique. It's yours to customize, and then you can order it and have it printed and delivered to your doorstep. So this is actually what I'm doing currently right now. I have like my friend
That's
circle.
dope.
Yeah, I have, like some people have actually minted this and pulled some cool cards and customized it. And like yeah, it's funny, like there's like seeing in their faces like, oh yeah, this is cool, and maybe change the name and something. And now what I'm currently doing is like print their cards and have them shipped. I can also like this one guy, he's not into crypto. He doesn't have a wallet or know anything about it, and it's also fine. Uh, what I do is like I mint these for him, and then just give him the physical cards together with a QR code, which he can use to unlock the NFTs in his wallet. So he doesn't even need a wallet or any crypto or anything. So he will just get this QR code, and he can do what he wants with it. He can also just throw it in the bin, and those NFTs will be gone forever. But yeah, that's just another way of doing this. It's like when the game becomes online digital at some point, then it's very easy to include these digital blockchain cards.
That's really cool. I remember a while back in 2021, when the indie TCG market just blew up, right? Everybody was on Kickstarter, back in all the TCGs, right? There were a lot of games at the time that were trying to do the same thing. They don't exist anymore. But I'm happy to finally see somebody who is actually doing that, because it was a really well thought out thing, right? They were offering, like you said, generate your own card, get your own NFT, then they'll like get it created and shipped to them. And like I think this is fascinating. I think I love this because it gives players a chance to create their own card, get their own like unique thing, right? It kind of makes it special, right? For them, and I think that's a very unique experience. I think it's a fantastic experience, so I'm very happy that you actually went that direction and like started doing that.
Yeah, like in my local group, I have different kinds of people. Like this one guy, he likes to think about his own. He's a very creative guy. He's a writer, and he's like has his own worlds. He's kind of always developing, and he likes to write his own little flavor text on these cards. Like and have them like concise with similar names and stuff like that. So this is, for instance, something for these types of people, that they can like basically convey their own vision of their world with these cards and identify with them. A lot of people identify with their cards. This is a unique aspect where you can like not only paint on your card and make it custom, but also actually customize it with name and flavor text and artwork, of course.
Yeah, that's so cool. I like it. Oh, so we are actually running into the ending of the show. Thank you for hopping on and actually joining me with this and sharing your game and experience. I'm not gonna lie, I love the game. I really love the theming of the game. I like how it visually looks. I know that the AI market's still a little hot topic, but I mean, it's hard to complain about the visuals. Like, I'm looking at this dragon right now. I'm just like, man, he looks really cool, actually, the more I look at him. and all the artwork and everything is stunning. I can't wait to get into gameplay here soon enough. Obviously, we'll be diving into that. So, thank you for stopping by and being a part of the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Aruka.
Definitely, we'll have you on again next time, and we could just do general card chat about like whatever the industry is in. And to all the listeners, thank you for joining us.